Ayo, what is going on, you guys? Alejandro here, and welcome back to another episode of Magayon. In this episode, we're going to be going back to a place we've been to before, and we're going to be building something new. In this episode, we are going to be building the cultural center of Magayon, the heart of culture, music, arts, and theater in Asia, and even the world. So, let's get started. Before we start with the video, I just want to note the video issue right here, like the cropping that is happening. I had an issue while recording and I didn't notice it because I was too into the moment that I didn't notice that there was some parts that were not recorded, like the overlay was like overlapping and such. But yeah, in this episode we're going to be building the CCM. It takes inspiration from the CCP, which is a cultural center of the Philippines. If you're new to this series, this is a Cities Skylines Series of the Philippines never colonized, but we're still taking inspiration from the real life Philippines. So yeah, we're going to be building that. And this episode is mainly focused on building the building itself and the roads around it. As you're seeing here, the first part of the episode, we are doing intersection marking tools and all that kind of stuff. And now we are doing the main entrance to the building. Like, there are actually a lot of roads because this building was built during the 1950s, 50s to 1980s. I have no specific date for this, but the building that I'm taking inspiration from this was built during the 1960s, I guess, and it's kind of gorgeous. The architecture, gorgeous, but I'm going to be talking about that later on. I'm doing this thing right here. This is an octagonal, like roundabout, octagon about, yeah. It's the main entrance for guests, I guess, to enter the building, because there are side entrances you'd see later on, and in the middle of that there will be a fountain. Now the scaling in the city is quite a bit, it's all over the place, but I had a realization like while doing the city tour. And by the way, city tour parts 1 and 2 links down below. Part 3 will come soon. I did this because I was bored and I was inspired because the time that I was building this building, it was the anniversary of the declaration of martial law in the Philippines by Ferdinand Marcos, by the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos. And I have to emphasize that because that was one of the darkest times of Philippine history. And the history about that, with the series, we like to talk about history, and the history behind these buildings, the history of that moment was the darkest moment in recent history in the Philippines, a recorded history, because as I've said in the city tour, there were much darker moments but those were not recorded, and there are a lot of unrecorded dark moments happening in the Philippines every day, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Anyways, we're not going to be going very political because, as we all know, YouTube and their terms of service and all that kind of stuff, and people are a little bit iffy about that. But I'm just going to be going it lightly, but I'm still going to be spitting facts, but I won't be sharing false information as the people that often see them, because a lot of people are trying to revise the truth about martial law. People try to say that it was one of the greatest times of the country. There were like these buildings, there were like these great things we were built, there were roads, the national highway was built during this time. Oh my god, wow. But did you know where we got that money from? We got that money from loans. I mean, they got the money from loans, not us. We're still paying for those loans, Until now, we're still paying for the loans that the Marcos regime took from the international community in the US, I guess. And that was supposed to be for the recovery after World War II. But guess what they spent it on? Her shoes. Just kidding. I don't know. I don't know the facts, but corruption was rampant. And it was a dictatorship. So basically, whatever they wanted, they got it. And human rights and all those kind of stuff was neglected. A lot of people were silenced, and I just wanted to point this out in the video because we gotta acknowledge that this moment in our history was one of the darkest, as I've said. But in light of this, the skills, the architecture that was created by the architects, like the minds they had for this, because this was part of the plan by the Marcos regime as a tool to shape the Philippine landscape and our identity. It was basically to use architecture as a way to show that the country was doing great, was amazing. As you all know, if you're a dictator, well, as you all know, if you're a dictator, well, everybody relates to that. Wow. If you're a dictator, you should always focus on DIY on how to become a dictator. First of all, you should focus on idealism, propaganda, architecture, make everything grand, make things amazing. Just get the hearts of the people running. You know what I mean? You just get their juices flowing like, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? The previous dictators and the current dictators living right now. If you know North Korea, and if you know other countries, if you know World War II, okay, I think you guys know. I think my demographic knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Dictators use architecture to their advantage. We see this in the types of architecture that was used in North Korea. It's kind of like neoclassicist. There's a beauty. There's a certain thing about classicist buildings that just speak power to me. You know, the giant columns, the giantness, but these types of buildings that I'm building and I will be building in the future, because there's a revival of brutalism. If you guys don't know what brutalism is, it's what the original building is inspired from. This doesn't actually look like brutalism, because there's like, brutalism is a French word that came from a French word called béton brut, which is unfinished concrete, and that's basically what the building is. It's a building that is made out of unfinished concrete. And also another defining feature about brutalism is how huge they are and how ominously feeling they are. When I first heard about brutalism, I often associated it with like dark, stingy, bad, underwritten, like under maintenance buildings. But then I saw the light. The light of brutalism has been shined upon once again, and I saw the beauty of how simple things are, how simple things can be, how simple things can be great. Yes, that's what I was saying. And this building right here is a little bit of a modernist. Well, brutalism is a byproduct of modernism, but basically you're just seeing here rectangular shapes, and that is kind of what made it easier to build. And I think I want to build this in Minecraft, like the CCP complex, because the CCP, the Cultural Center of the Philippines, is not just one building; it's a collection of buildings, as I've said, as a part by the Marcos regime to redefine the Philippine identity. But yes, the architecture in this place is beautiful, like the artists and all that kind of stuff. A lot of brutalist buildings were built here, like as I've said, Cultural Center of the Philippines, the Philippine International Convention Center, among other things, because honestly, I forgot. There's a lot of buildings that were designed by Locsin. If you guys want to read more about him, just search him on YouTube. Literally, I have a lot of things to do. It's amazing that I can give time to make this episode, because architecture school is actually our midterms now, but I was like, I'm stressed. I'm gonna play Cities Skylines because it relieves my stress, but recording episodes and editing, it's a stress on its own, but it is what it is. We have to do this. It's fun when I'm done, but when I'm doing it, it's kind of not sometimes. So please subscribe so that I can be inspired to make more. Yes. So now we're doing the roads surrounding it. Now, the area that I'm taking inspiration from originally is reclaimed land. Now, since this is the 50s, reclaimed land, it's the 1950s, that means roads. And lots of them. There's a lot of wide roads in this place, and it's not actually used that much. And the main road that it was reclaimed from, like the land reclamation, the other side of that road was land reclamation, and the other side was like the shore. That was the Rojas Boulevard, and that road is full of traffic. But since it's Panini right now, so it's not that heavy of a traffic. And speaking of Panini, if you're in the Philippines, the Panasonic here is getting worse by the day, and it's taking a toll on everybody's physical, mental, emotional, financial health. Yes, it sucks. So yeah, I just wanted to put it out there. So make sure you subscribe and follow me on Patreon to help me financially. Wow. Anyways, making the parking lot. We're making a parking lot on the side. Now, in real life, there are much larger parking lots here. But I'm just taking the what do you call this? The vibe, the aura of the building, the atmosphere, the energy that this building exudes, but taking my own spin on it. It also, due to asset limitations, I can't make 100% brutalist building, but I think let's just give it a bit of a bit of a story. Like the front of the building was like badly damaged due to something, and they were like, let's just not make it brutalist, or like because something bad happened here, so we have to like change the front of it so that it would be like celebration of change, something like that. I don't know. I think it's a good way. It's just an excuse, because why were you building a, just use your words, because words can have 1,000 meanings. I don't know what I'm saying basically. Now we're doing landscaping. Landscaping here is just plain, just basic. The building was quite easy to build because it's quite a minimalistic building. I think it gives a little bit of a functionalism vibe, brutalist, minimalist, all that kind of vibes. They're like aligned together. Now the original underlying design philosophy, wow, letter P, philosophy, it's F, the pronunciation is F, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. It's all about preserving, it's all about tactility, if you know what I mean. I am very tired. It's 1 a.m. here in the Philippines, and I still have lots of plates to do. So, yeah. Now I'm doing these using asphalt and changing the colors of them. It's amazing that these asphalt decals or surfaces can be changed colors, because we can essentially use them to cover roofs or ugly places in this of a building and make it look seamless, make it look gorgeous, just make it look amazing. Now I'm also doing this side road here. Now this side road is just a 4-lane road, but this is once again much larger, and I'm adding an additional 2 lanes on the other side, which will serve as traffic that wants to load and unload towards the building. I think this would be like for taxis and all that kind of stuff. Oh, okay. Here we have the front of it, which has the fountain. That would be like the drop off for the special people, and other people, taxis, buses will land on this side, and on the other side private vehicles, because that's where the parking area is. And on the back of the building, you can cross the road to go to SM Magayon, the biggest mall in Magayon, because the city is quite small, and that's as big as I can build to make the city still look gorgeous. Now, an amazing thing is intersection marking tool. Now this is a game changer, as I've said. I love this mod, and it's been so long since I played the game that I forgot some of the functions, but I was quick to get back to my feet. Now these two, as I've said, 2 lanes. It's a 3x4 lane, but I closed 1 lane on the other side, so that on the third one and the 3-lane one I closed 1, so there's 2, and the 4 lane on the other side is divided into 2, 1 going straight through the road and 1 that is the unloading and loading dock of the place. I'm also using concrete things here to make it look gorgeous, because the pathways for the Japanese roads are the same color or a little bit lighter than the asphalt, so I wanted to use a much lighter one because, difference. You have to make it stand out. I'm just redoing this. Now there's a lot of nodes here, but I don't care because this is quite an important part of the city. The real life history of this is quite controversial, but the history in Magayon, this one is just, as you know, Magayon is a very peaceful place, and it's a very sugar-coated version of the Philippines. It's just very sana all na lang po sa Magayon, sana all. Now smoothing the roads, and I'm adding once again the color changing asphalt to the roofs to make it all look seamless, because seamlessness, as I've said. I'm using a lighter cream color as opposed to the more darker, almost brown color at the bottom, at the base. And I'm also going to be adding grass later on, because Magayon is focusing on the climate, because it's 2030 in this city. If you've been following the series, we have a lot of climate conscious buildings, like very forward looking, and the thing here is that those grass will catch rainwater and it will deflect light. It will absorb the heat. It won't absorb the heat, actually. It will make the building cooler. But there's a lot of trees later on, as you'd see, and the building is the color is quite light, so it won't be. It also acts as catching rainwater, because as you know, the city is beside the coastline and rising sea levels and all that kind of stuff. But this building is already elevated on a platform, which is another characteristic. I don't think it's a characteristic of brutalism, but rather of making things grander. You make a building, make it huge, and put it on a podium, on a platform, to make it even more important, to raise it a little bit, so that it's like, kind of, I'm better than everyone else. So that's kind of the vibe we're getting, like, I'm special, I am the best, I am the greatest. So that is the vibe we're getting for this. If you guys want to just make a place look very important, build a podium, build it on the podium, put it on an elevated plane. Did you know that the White House was built on the highest hill in Washington? I didn't, because it's all covered up now. So yeah. Now let's get back. Placing in sidewalks on the side so that people can actually walk into it. But this building doesn't have any purpose. It's just all PO. So I plopped later on. I might or might have not shown footage of me plopping parks, like people spawners. And yeah, now I'm using Terraform tool to sink down these the land here, because I can't just use the Terraform brush because the texture is clipping for these roads. And yeah, there are dogs barking in the background, and there's nothing I can do about that. And I don't want to repeat my recording because I hate it. I don't want to go to school anymore. It became a rant. Yeah, I love architecture, but what we're doing here is what I've learned for the past 3 years already. And you know, man, it's just me. It's just the situation here actually in the Philippines. It's quite shitty. You know, shitty, as I've said, 17. We're still at online classes, and I'm definitely not learning anything. Yay! Wow, amazing. Let's go. So you better vote wisely. You know, a lot of people are filing for presidency, and there's one person that we want to run. She should run. Vote for her. No cap. Yeah. Anyways, by the way, I'm registered now. The registration has been extended, so go, go, go. Go, 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 yes. Filipino watchers will understand that. Anyways, now we're once again focusing on the road. This episode is mostly focused on road and building. And I love doing road detailing. Like, I just love detailing the roads. Like, oh my god. Like, literally, the roads are so gorgeous. Like, they're so straight. Unlike me. So yeah, why did I suddenly just slip into a Californian accent, or maybe like a Kardashian accent? Like, oh my god, Kylie, there's people starving in Africa. So yeah. Anyways, now we're doing the bike path. I'm sorry for the commentary. I'm not in a good state right now. I'm in the state of the Philippines. Yeah. Yes, life has not been treating us very well, but hopefully the tides will change soon. Sure, because every month, low tide, high tide, let's go. I'm so lightheaded right now. Anyways, partitioning the 4-lane road for through traffic and loading and unloading zones, and placing barriers, because why the hell not? If you guys don't know what to explain why something is, just say, because why not? And they're gonna be like, oh, okay. I basically can't think of another thing. My mind is mentally drained from the thing that we're experiencing here. And the Cities Skylines is a great escape to the shit show we're in. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying what you're seeing right now, because I enjoyed building this. And yeah, I'm also adding this thing right here. I'm not gonna be doing the park beside it, because you know, I don't got no time. I am super busy thinking about busy trying to do what I need to do. I'm basically procrastinating 24/7, and this video should have been uploaded 2 weeks ago, or made 2 weeks ago, but you know, man, how life works. Buhay is life. Sometimes it's not all the time, and at the end of the day, it's night. So yeah, a lot of philosophical learnings from me, because you know, I'm Greek. I'm the Greek. Anyways, I'm building water protection. If you've watched the previous episode, I delved on that on the city tour, but there's a much better episode like before that. and that's amazing. Now I'm doing, oh, suddenly we're into night. I should have probably done landscaping, but a part of me was like, what does this building look like at night? Because I saw pictures of the building at night and it was gorgeous. So now I'm just adding lights. I'm using golden lights or warm white lights. I don't know what they are called. Incandescent, fluorescent, I don't know. And adding in lighting to the building because lighting can shape building. Architecture is defined by shapes, by size, color, lines, and lighting is everything. That's how we perceive things. That's how our eyes see. So depending on how the light strikes an object can define how we experience that object. So if your lighting is ugly, you're ugly. But if you're ugly and your lighting is good, you're still ugly. I'm just kidding. Nobody's ugly. Wow. Wow, fake positivity. Just kidding. There we go. Octagonal. Yes, fountain. Do you know what comes before a fountain? Yes, it's a fountain. What comes after a fountain? Fountain 11. There's basically nothing to talk about right now. I'm just detailing the thing. I think I can explain the architecture and the process behind it, and I'm just going to be sharing updates with you all. Now, doing some landscaping here and there. This is the last part of the episode. I'm going to be also doing some grass landscaping with the roads later on. Yellow boxes, making it also the landscaping here is like tropical because it's Southeast Asia. In the real world, this landscaping here is not as heavy as this because once again, this is 2030s in the future and there's like trees because who wouldn't love to live in a city filled with trees? I'm very lucky that I don't actually live in a city because the more I learn about the truth about people living in cities, especially depending on the city, especially if a car-centric city or a city that is noisy or a city that is not planned well, I don't want to live there. I just want to live in the province and then visit the city. You know what I mean? But I still want to have like an apartment at the center of the city, but have a quiet retreat in the hills. Wow, feeling rich soon we will manifest that. We will have 2 homes, one deep in the city and one in the forest, or by the sea. There's a thing about living by water. There's a thing about greens and blues. It's just so earthly, you know what I mean? It's just giving me nature vibes. Well, green is like grass and water is like blue. Water is transparent though, but the reflection of the sky makes it blue. And why is the sky blue? Due to the refraction of light in the tiny dust particles that are in the air. Yeah. You know how I learned that? YouTube. I didn't learn nothing at school. I only learned that school gives you stress, and that's what I'm feeling right now. If your guys is stressed with the current situation in the Philippines, comment down below. If you want change, register to vote and vote wisely. I don't know when will Wisely run. Hopefully, Wisely will announce her petition to run for president because we're literally. If you guys have Donald Trump, we have something worse. Yes. Now I'm doing landscaping here. Now the cinematics. I'm just gonna be reclaiming my sanity when the cinematic plays because the cinematics is gonna be gorgeous. I'm just doing some basic detailing here and there, and that's about it. Just wait for the cinematics because the cinematics is just gonna be amazing. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you want to see next, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to support this channel even more, you can follow me on Patreon because I'm gonna be uploading everything early on Patreon, and there's exclusive content for Patreon people. And I'm thinking of uploading the map as well to my patrons, with the street layouts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you can't follow me on Patreon, that's still okay. You can also join my community Discord. That's where we chat, but it hasn't been active lately because I think people are kind of busy as well. But hopefully in the Christmas, we're going to be having more episodes. Expect new episodes from me whenever I feel like it because, it is what it is. But I actually need to make new episodes because, as you've seen in the picture, the Galaxy S9, I'm also planning on buying a new phone by the end of the year. And I have actually bought a lot of things for school thanks to you guys, to my patrons. I bought a table. yes, and that's a table that I'm using right now, but I'm planning on buying another one because this is too small. This is just for my laptop and my essentials, but my drafting table needs to be on a separate one. But yeah, this tangent has come very, very long. There's a Starbucks there because people in Magayon love coffee, and I love coffee, but sadly I can't take coffee right now because I have a cold. I mean, I can't take cold coffees. I mean, I can. I mean, I shouldn't, but I can. You know what I mean? Bad boy. Anyways, a plug of the Philippines and a plug of the something something over there. I don't know what that is, but it's just imagine that that's the cultural thing. And also Southeast Asia at the back because, you know, we love Southeast Asia. We love it so much. And this is yellow lines here because this is very Filipino. In the Philippines, intersections are always have this yellow box in the center with a cross in it. It'll make kind of brock in it. Yeah, that's the end of the video. I definitely enjoyed this episode, even though it was very all over the place, as I am. I mean, my early episodes were literally all over the place, but it wasn't this challenged. It's one of the longest video. It's one of the videos I've made in quite a long time, but hopefully the cinematic, you know, pays up to what happened here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.